Hey everybody, Joe Daniels from Swing This Kettlebell and Strength. Steve Horn here. Bruce, the architect of pain, taking the spot. He's gonna have to sit up here, so I guess he can sit next to us. Anyway, we're gonna talk about basically what Steve came down here for was preparation for
Tough Mudder
2013 in Big Rock ATV Park, Kentucky, which I had done previously in October.
Yep.
And it was viciously cold.
Yep.
So I don't think I will do that again.
Yep.
So when you first, how did you hear about swing?
I just was basically looking for a gym. Google pointed me in the right direction. I had done CrossFit before. I like the workout. I like the process of it. But I was looking for something a little bit different, a little bit more varied, maybe a little bit more specific to what I wanted to get done. And so I came down here, checked it out, and found a home.
One of our biggest differences between any other mode of training is we focus a lot more on unilateral, one arm, one leg, rotational and transverse plane motions, which I think helps people a lot more when they're used to doing other stuff by adding that in, because it gets neglected.
Right.
When do people usually hurt their back? When they're picking up a pencil, when they're twisting out of that.
Yeah.
You know, they're not used to that. They can pick 500 pounds off the ground. They can do bench press. They can, muscle up, stuff like that. But it's that same plane of motion, forward, backwards, up, down. So, all right, Bruce, you can have all the chair. Anyway, how long was that your first? You just wanted to do something different and then prepare for the Tough Mudder?
Yeah, I mean, basically, my first emphasis was just basically getting better in shape, having a regular trainer to go to, a regular place to go to that wasn't your typical kind of Globo gym feel to it. So that was really my main priority. And then my father, who's 68, said, you know what, I want to do this Tough Mudder. And I said, you know what, I better go do this with you, or so you don't die. Awesome. So basically from there, I pretty much just said, you know what, we're going to do this in Ohio in April, up in Mansfield. It was at the end of the month, end of April. What do I need to get ready to do it? And structured a little bit more, geared a little bit more towards those things. But the prep, the training that I did here, I think, that's how I got through it. That's cool. And made it fun and not a
worrisome thing.
A worrisome, stressful event. Yeah.
Okay, that comes to my big point that I'd really like to talk about. That when I see people attempting these runs, this isn't a half. They're long. Some of them, 5Ks. Some of them, 5-6 miles. Tough Mudder we ran was apparently 12.
Right.
Now, I see a lot of people like, is Dad the crazy one, or are you the? Now, was he in good shape to do this thing, or did he say, "Hey, I'm gonna do this run, and let's do it"?
Yeah. Dad's pretty crazy. Dad said,
awesome.
Said,
Yay for crazy dads.
He's been a lifelong runner, so he's been doing, he's been active all of his life, and it was pretty much his
cool.
thinking behind it. Yeah.
So. He's a lifelong runner. Lots of cardio, good cardio. What about core and upper body strength along with, hey, I'm sliding in thousands of gallons of mucky mud that 4,000 people have trampled beforehand.
Right.
What's the difference?
Right. Big difference. I mean, I think when some people think about doing a Spartan race or a Tough Mudder race, they think, oh, I better work on my cardio, I better go out and do some trail running and that kind of thing. That's by far the easiest part. I mean, and it's more of a trek or a hike.
Sure, you're not really running that much.
Yeah, it's too muddy to run.
Yep.
I mean, there are some guys out there that are running. Those are the guys that are like the top 5%. They're doing this because they really want to be the best at being a Tough Mudder. That's a very small group, and
so they're actually competing versus the challenge. When you're standing in that line, they're saying this is not a race.
Right.
This is a challenge. To use your fellow man to help you, right?
Yeah.
Because some of those obstacles, you have a very hard time getting through. I had a very hard time on a lot of them, but helping other people that would not have been able to whatsoever.
Absolutely.
So that mud, running is, balancing, like my buddy Ryan Smith always says, running is just nothing but a series of single leg balances.
Right.
This makes it a lot harder.
Yeah.
So not even to the obstacles, but we're in mud, you're in different terrain.
Right.
I think that trail running,
Yeah.
well, I cannot stand running, especially on concrete.
Yeah.
I don't think we were meant to do that. It's just we've had concrete in the last, couple hundred years or 100 years, whatever we have.
Right.
We run on trails, we hike, we climb, all that stuff. It's bringing us back. I think that's what's popular. It's more like primal. It's deep in our DNA that this is what we've done for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
But what about, we train maybe 2 miles each weekend, trail running.
Yeah.
You got to get the ankle strong.
Right.
You got to have hip mobility,
and
so your knee doesn't buckle. I mean, so you're not going to die in this thing.
I think one of the most important things to do when you're preparing for the Tough Mudder is to work on your mobility, to work on the stabilization, getting yourself ready for it, being able to do the full range of motion, because when you're out there on the course, you're going to be crawling through the mud, you're going to be climbing up walls, you're going to be helping pushing people up because it goes back to the teamwork thing. So your body is going to be stretched all over the place, going to multitude of directions. So when you're prepping for this event, mobility is huge.
Yeah.
It is huge.
If you're tight, think about this. I was telling a group of soccer players last night. They're like, I'm so tight. I'm like, do you realize how much energy that you're expending running with your brakes on?
Yeah.
Same thing here. You're going to be stretched into end range of motion in many times, maybe against your will.
Yeah.
You slip, you slide.
Right.
What about, it's like driving.
Yeah.
I don't drive, just pay attention to myself. I pay attention to everybody else on the road.
Yeah.
Same thing here.
Yeah.
You
There's
have people,
4,000, 5,000 other people that are out there that
going
are
too fast, going too slow, all this stuff.
Yeah, that are probably nowhere near the kind of shape that you're in.
Or they should be, and that's another point.
Yeah.
I want to write about this, and this is going to be the number one to start, is how many people attempt this thing that have no business being there. They have strong minds, but the thing is, I just read on actual Tough Mudder website, they say that 78% of the people, only 78% of the people finish this thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Out of that signed up, well, I mean, they might not even make it. I've had people that signed up, backed out.
Right.
They see people, whatever, like, the mental, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It could be cold, it could be incredibly hot. If you're training in a 72-degree gym outside all the time, inside all the time, constant temperature.
You're running on a treadmill, if you're doing stuff on the machine, that's not going to get you into a Tough Mudder shape.
No,
that's not going to happen.
Highly do not recommend this. You need to expose yourself.
Yep. Heat,
cold. Heat, cold. How can we do this? We would go run. It was getting cold like the month before.
Yeah.
We would jump in the creeks.
Yeah.
I would literally jump in the creeks.
Yeah.
Because people are like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Why are you not doing this?
Right.
That is training your nervous system and your body to handle that.
Right.
People can have heart attacks jumping in ice cold water.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can have heart attacks when it's too hot and you're not hydrating yourself. Okay.
So as far as that goes, the mental preparation I think is very key in doing this race too, because as much as the physical portion of it is important, the mental portion is really key too, because this race is designed to push you to your absolute limits, push you out of your comfort zone. British Special Forces, exactly. And so if being in dark, cold water freaks you out to the point of
in tunnels,
I don't know that I can do this anymore. If you're going to be in tight, enclosed spaces.
Areas,
If that freaks you out to the point where you can't take it, then you probably want to bypass that obstacle or not do the race, because there are a lot of things like that in this event. It's a lot of fun. It will push you, but just be forewarned that the mental preparation is really key too.
Think about this. There's areas where there's 8 to 12 foot walls.
Yeah.
The Berlin walls, I believe.
Yeah.
Say you get up.
Yeah.
Do you understand how to absorb yourself and absorb your weight, dropping down the other side that might have 0 to 4 inches thick of mud?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be hard.
Yeah.
It could be hard on your right foot. It could be soft on your left foot where you land.
Yeah.
Can you bring your people around? Will they wait and help you?
Yeah. Can you swim in cold water with your shoes on?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about hydration?
Yeah.
We got to places where they had bananas. They didn't have bananas or water at a couple stations I had.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had a Camelback with some electrolytes and branched chain amino acids.
Mm-hmm.
I brought 6 lower bars with me. I gave away 5 of them to people that were undernourished.
Right.
They were underhydrated. They were
Right.
cramping. And these people looked like they were in shape.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of that stuff, you don't think about it.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
don't train in those, even though it's cold, you will be sweating.
Right.
You don't realize
Right.
how much you lose.
Right. Right.
in that.
I went. My race was at the end of April, so I found early April. I found a swimming pool that wasn't officially open, but it was open enough for me.
It was open for him.
I jumped in it. I got in. I got
Yes.
so you could get used to
Sure.
that, being in that shock of that cold water,
Yeah.
because there are, most of the water events they're cold, and you have to get acclimated to how are you going to function in that really cold water.
You could try contrast showers,
Yeah.
where you're warm to cool to cold, on and off to get your body used to it. It's just
Yeah.
like weight training,
Yeah.
progressive resistance. You're progressively pushing your body to a little bit further state instead of, hey, I got 14 pounds of ice, I'm just going to jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
You might not make out of it.
Yeah.
You don't know. You
Yeah.
ease into it.
Right.
One ice cube at a time. But let's see, what about, what time, how cold was it in April?
You know
we
what?
went to the same, no, we didn't go to the same
We
place.
didn't go to the same one. When I went in April, I lucked out because the weather was actually
Pretty nice.
really nice.
Beginning of this year was pretty nice.
The morning temperature was probably right around 55 degrees. Midday, it probably got up to about 70.
Oh, you lucky jerk.
So yeah, I got really lucky. I mean,
Did you see the sun?
It was perfect.
Was
It
it
was
sun?
sunny out. There was a little wind. So I got lucky.
I like challenges.
Mhm.
I do not think I would do what I did if it, you can't predict the weather.
Right.
But if it was like, I don't think I would do that again. Of what I did on October,
Yeah.
it was
That was
in the
miserable.
50s.
Yeah.
No sun. It had rained for a day or so beforehand.
Yeah.
The sun never came out. It was cloudy. It's
Mhm.
just freezing. Okay, let's go. What did you wear?
I wore an old pair of the flat kind of go anywhere type sneakers like what you have on now. I wore durable older shorts that would stand up to crawling through mud or getting in water, would dry out relatively quickly.
Yes.
I had a long sleeve Under Armour type shirt that I ended up taking off when it got wet because it was just kind of soaking next to my skin.
I'm going to make sure our tape's still going.
Yeah.
Yes, we are good. All right, cool. Good job, buddy.
And that's pretty much it. So older gear that hopefully will dry out relatively quickly.
It was so cold when we started. I knew it. I had planned to bring cold, say, police shooting gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Target, whatever.
Yeah.
So I could have a good grip.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hold a lot of water in it. Actually found these right here. These are cold water kayaking gloves. Little neoprene,
Oh,
keeps
yeah.
a lot of water.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
I wore Under Armour cold gear leggings, some smart wool socks to keep from blisters.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
miserable. If you're getting,
Yeah.
your feet are gonna be soaked, and if you have bad, you know what I mean.
Right.
You don't take care of that.
Right.
Maybe some kinesio tape or rock tape or
Sure.
KT tape, keep the blisters and stuff from happening.
Sure.
Places you develop them.
Yeah.
That's key. You're gonna be
Yeah.
miserable if you got. My buddy Mike ran one of them in a mile 6 or so.
Mhm.
Lost a shoe.
Yeah.
Tried to keep going. This is a dude in the Marines.
Yeah.
Lost his shoe.
Yeah.
Had to stop.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Said he literally was looking for shoes.
Right.
But man, if you lose something like that, that's rough. But very muddy, rocky. Depends on where they're at.
Yeah.
Courses.
Yeah.
I had a beanie on. Lost it in one of the underwater
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Had a Camelback on,
Yeah.
which so that added me with that thing about 3 liters of water. A good extra 10, 15 pounds, I'm thinking, when I'm running.
Yeah.
So
I went through with a Camelback too.
Good.
And
Smart.
it can be useful, especially if you're in a situation where you really in desperate need of hydration. If you could switch it up with somebody, if you're going through a water obstacle because
Yeah.
it'll weigh you down, or if you're going underneath barbed wire,
Yeah.
find a way that you can
kind of drag it with
drag
you
it
or
with you
whatever.
or something like that.
Let's
Yeah.
you have any points, right? that we haven't hit on yet?
You know, I've got, if you want to talk about a couple of the obstacles.
Yeah, let's talk about obstacles, and definitely want to talk about injuries, because that's why this man's here right now.
Yes.
When we were talking before about people jumping into this stuff, remember the last time you were on a playground 20 years ago?
Sure. Yeah.
Swinging arm from arm, it's a little different now.
Oh yeah.
Even for us that train all the time in this environment, your shoulder, it's easier to just pop out of socket.
Right.
You know what I mean? You weigh more, you haven't been doing it a lot.
Feels a lot different at 39 than it did at 10.
Yes. There's been a time lapse there.
Yeah.
And maybe some not training like that, you know, we're not into gymnastic shape anymore or whatever.
Right.
But people go right into these things thinking, oh, I can run a marathon.
Right.
Oh, on concrete.
Yeah.
And I can run a half marathon. Cool. It's not the same thing.
Right.
You have to train every part of your body and your mind for like the stuff. But we'll talk about some of the obstacles. But before, hopefully our tape doesn't shut off. But injury, what happened for you, sir?
For what happened to me, I was going along, having a great time, enjoying the obstacles. It was towards the end. It was probably about the third or the fourth obstacle to go, where there are these gymnast rings that are hanging down over a body of water, and you're supposed to swing from ring to ring to get to the other side.
I believe it's called hanging tough.
Okay, hanging tough. I didn't hang tough.
I didn't hang tough.
That was my problem. Actually, the real stupid thing I did was I tried to hang tough, and I was hanging by one arm. Basically my 210 pounds hanging on one arm on one ring, and that's what really cranked out my shoulder. Tendonitis elbow, tendonitis shoulder, and torn subscapularis muscle. Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Steve's been out for a little bit, training as hard as he would like, and as hard as we would like to, see it or have him being trained. Therapy, massage therapy, stuff like that has helped. Foam rolling,
foam roller
at home, stuff like that.
Supple
PT,
leopard.
Yeah, supple leopard. Making sure you gotta have that range of motion. You have to be if you can't get your arm up your head when you're doing just a regular barbell press or kettlebell press or whatever. How in the world do you think you're going to support 210 pounds in this position? Right. When you're already stretched max range here and range here. This is all you can do. You got to think. Yeah. Okay, so getting that fixed. Yep. I saw some people that look like they're crazy in shape. Could not do these things. Not everybody can do. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter. I mean,
most people couldn't do the, I'd say in particular, that hanging tough, and then also there was the monkey bars that went over. Yeah, they kind of 90% people couldn't do it.
Yeah, they spun, right?
I did it. Yeah. They were muddy too.
Yeah, wet, muddy, cold. I got to the point it was so cold that I could barely open my hands. Like you know how it feels when you get in it, like your muscles just crank down, they're tight. Yeah. They start. So when you're cold, you're shivering. You're expelling energy. You're expanding energy to warm yourself up. Yeah. It's another thing that you use a lot of energy when you're not even really doing anything. Yeah. That was really hard for me. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna jump in the water and swim. Yeah. 1 ring, 2 ring, try to get my arm in there. I'm like, that's a terrible idea. Yeah. I quickly got out of that. Some people were going and swinging, getting their arm in it, and then trying to reach the other. I was like, you know what? My arm is worth more than this obstacle. Right. I dropped in the water and swam away. Right.
Know your limits. Know your limits.
Know your limits.
Know
exactly.
your limits. Know your limits.
You want to look at some of these obstacles?
Yeah.
They change the obstacles wherever you're at. Hopefully, if people want to do it the next year, it's not the same thing. Right. So there's.
But I think they have some of the same obstacles.
They're real popular and tough ones. Yeah.
So like. You're going to get electrocuted at some point, so
That sounds terrible. That was terrible. The scariest thing for me. Yeah. Electric and water doesn't seem to mix, but I don't remember getting shocked. Yeah. That's what the Tough Mudder is known for. The electroshock therapy, they call it. Right. Some of them you're crawling under barbed wire, the little strings hanging down. You don't know which one's which. Some of them might tickle. Some of them I've seen knock people over.
Knock people out. Yep.
That made my heart race, and that made me really worried.
Yeah, that freaks you out a little bit. Yeah.
Freaked me out a lot.
Yeah. Boa constrictor, that's one that you're in an enclosed small tube, you're crawling through it, you're going down into water, and then to get out of it, you crawl up the tube, and your face has got to go in that dark water. So
and it's very hard. The tube's only about
like
that.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
for a guy that's any bigger than 250 or so,
Yeah.
I mean, I had a hard time. My shoulders
Yeah.
are wide. You have to crawl
Yeah.
almost like you can't get your elbow out like
Right.
that. So you're kind of like
Yeah.
shimmying yourself up and
Yeah.
using your feet, and it's wet, it's slippery, it's
Right.
muddy,
Right.
it's dark, it's cold,
Right.
it's hot,
Right.
whatever.
If
There's
those
people
things-
behind you.
If those things freak you out, skip that one. Skip
I
that
didn't
one.
have too much of a hard time
but
with that.
I was good with it. Yeah.
I couldn't get out the end of it though if it wasn't for a person in front of me. So you have to
Yeah.
help other people.
Right. Absolutely.
I waited for the next person to make
Yeah.
sure that they got out safe.
Yep. Yep.
Some people have heard of people getting really well. A lot of people get hurt in this, but there's actually been in the news a couple deaths
Yes.
in a
there
couple
have
of these things.
There have been.
I mean, yeah, if people get freaked out, there's
Right.
water involved. I mean,
Yep.
if you're not an
Yeah.
incredible sure swimmer
Yeah.
of stuff like that, I
Yeah.
mean, you're jumping in water, over
Yeah.
fire.
Right.
There's
Right.
other people there. What if someone
Yeah.
jumps on you? I mean, you have
Yeah.
to pay attention.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and they have lifeguards there. They have people watching out, but I would encourage you to go as a team.
There's
and you
thousands
need to
of
watch
people.
out for the other people that are on your team. You need
Yeah.
to be aware. You're watching out for your other guy. They're watching out for you. You're not a lone ranger out
And
there.
everybody looks either black, shirted, or muddy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you can
They're
wear,
both
like
the
we wore our strong core shirts
Yeah.
to find each other. We had a big white kettlebell, swing this, whatever. We could see some of the people. But it started to fade. 'Cause
Right.
everybody was wearing these dark clothes. A couple other races, our friends started wearing our bright pink, so you could find each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
You know, if you all
Yeah.
wear the same things, like whatever. There's a picture of these guys wearing old 1800s jailbreak costumes.
Uh-huh.
You can see that.
Right. Right.
But let's go some other. What about one of the first ones? Everybody starts off in groups. The Arctic enema.
yes.
So there's
Yeah.
this dumpster looking
Yeah.
thing where
Yeah.
you see people getting herded in. You climb up, you're like, oh, there's ice water there. Well, you jump in, and then immediately, I mean, it's ice water.
It's shocking to
it's-
your system. It's the
yes.
second obstacle. That was the second obstacle on our course. It's typically one of the first things you go through, and it is a shock to your
Yeah.
system like I've never had.
Yes, it slowed me down. It
Yeah.
made me. I hadn't had an experience like that, and I've
Yeah.
been in ice baths.
Right,
I've
right.
been in jumping in the water, in the
Right.
cold ass water.
Yeah.
But if you're not used to that,
Yeah.
that could be really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, it's also one of those things where you don't want to think about it too much, because if you think about it too much, you're going to freak yourself out. You don't want to think about it at all when you're actually doing it, because then you start to get really discombobulated and start freaking out a little
We
bit.
haven't even told you. You have to go under
Yes.
a lock, like a, what is it? What do they call
Basically,
it?
it's like a barricade that's about,
Yeah,
it's
barricade.
a wood barricade. It's about a foot underwater, so you have to go
Fully submerged.
all the way underneath this, in the middle of water that's probably about 35 degrees.
And 40 to 50 people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then you get to the end, and you realize there's hardly any water here. Here's
Yeah.
where all the ice has been
is.
pushed.
Yeah.
It's hard
Yeah.
to move,
Yeah.
and people in front of you cannot move fast enough.
Right.
People
Right.
can't get. Some people can't get out
Yeah.
of it.
It's hard to catch your breath
Yeah.
because your body is starting to
Tighten
try
down
and
so
tighten
much,
up,
yeah.
trying to stay warm. Yeah.
So once you get out of that, you got a real weird feeling.
Yeah.
Like you're like, can I do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the beginning.
You're exhausted, and it's
Sure.
it's not even a mile into it.
It's just the beginning. Okay, so boa, talk about the tubes, boa constrictor,
Yep.
cliffhanger. There's a lot of places where there's trenches cut in the mud. You have to jump over
Mhm.
2 feet of water.
Yeah.
Then it becomes 3. Then it's
Yeah.
4. Then it's really long. It's where you can't. Some people can jump over. If you're good at jumping, you might not be good at landing in mud.
Mhm.
You got to think
Mhm.
about stuff like that.
Right. Right.
Just because you can jump far doesn't mean you can land it safely.
Right.
How many ankles did you see
Yeah. Yeah.
sprained or
Not-
even
not
broken?
looking good. Yeah.
How many,
Yeah.
like face plants did you
Right.
see? So if you can't make it, you got to get in the water. You need help to get out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
It is so slippery. It's
Mm-hmm.
you need friends.
Yeah. Another thing there's a lot of climbing involved. So some of it's like solo things, like whether it's the stuff that we were just talking about with the monkey bars, that kind of thing. But there's also a lot of team-based climbing. You're going through muddy trenches. You gotta help push each other out of the muddy trench.
Yeah.
You have to help each other climb over a wall. Sometimes those walls are 20 feet straight up in the air. Other times they're 15 feet and slanted back towards you, where you have to do some tricky scaling. So, you know, a good part of the event is team based.
There's always, no matter, this is in everything in life, there's always going to be some reckless D-bags.
Yeah.
Watch out for them.
Yeah.
You can tell when there's people coming that aren't paying attention, or they're like, "Oh, I'm so tough, I can kill this thing," and they're just reckless.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of newer people that are trying this.
Yeah.
Not saying there's not a lot of tough women. There are incredibly tough ladies there, but there are also some very small stature.
Yeah, you typically don't have to. Yeah, and those aren't the ones you have to look out for. You have to look out for, you know, bros that are out there that are you know, doing their thing and just being idiots. So
yeah, a lot of alpha maleage going on in this.
No room for that.
Yeah. Let's see. So electric eel, climbing under the wires. You get a little zap.
That's uncomfortable.
Yeah. Let's see. I didn't see what the dong dangler is. It looks like you're climbing over a rope on some water.
Right.
Let's see. Now, what about Everest?
Everest. Yes. Everest.
It's like a
was awesome
skateboard ramp.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to get to the top.
Yeah, it's like a skateboard ramp. Basically, it's probably about,
I think it's 15
about
feet.
15 feet high, and it's at a definite slope. And so the problem that a lot of people had when they were trying to do Everest was they were trying to climb it like it was a wall. You don't want to approach it that way. The best way to approach it is you want to sprint straight at it like you're going to run through the wall. If you run straight at it, don't stop, don't hesitate, your momentum will carry you up that wall.
Grab some hands.
And then there's people up at the top that are willing to, you know, either members of your team or there's other just people that are out there that are doing the team thing, and they will grab you and pull you up. But do not hesitate. Do not slow down. Run straight at that Everest like you're going to run right through that wall, and your momentum will carry you straight up. I did it the first time, my first attempt at it, and but I saw people out there that were just
5,
6, 7, 8, 9 times that just kept on falling on their face.
Firewalker, you're jumping, not bad at all. It's more of the freak out thing. It's very smoky, so if you're waiting for your team and you're inhaling a bunch of smoke, probably not a good idea. But you're jumping over a small little, you know, wall of hot embers, flame. Jump over that, but at some point you got to jump over one into a big old ditch of water. Mm-hmm. You got to make sure there's people not on the other side. You know, I always worry about stuff like this when people are slipping and falling. Broken clavicles, you know, dislocated shoulders, knees, sprained ankles, stuff like that. But man, a lot of people run, slip, and fall, you knock yourself out. You can, fall in the water, whatever. You got to be careful. But you got to train for stuff like this. I'm not saying go down and wet your floor with Crisco and slip on it, stuff like that. But you got to, you know, balance, Bosu type stuff, some you know, sponge pads, single leg, single everything. TRX type stuff. I think the TRX does a lot. If you have, you know, ropes. I didn't have any climbing ropes in Tough Mudder, but in the Spartan race there was. It was a muddy rope, pretty high, and, you know, that's that. But anyway, you know, deal with ropes, deal with a lot of other stuff. What else is there? Bail bonds. They had a stack of hay bales. I mean, keep saying it. Hay bales, this tall, maybe 4 feet tall, whatever, 3, 4 feet tall, but there might have been between 5 to 6 of them high where you climb up. I mean, if you could fall off that, that's not good.
No.
You know, so use your friends. Walk up there. Take your time. It's not a rush. You know, you want to come back to your family here. What about, you talk about hold your wood. Now, it's pretty cool. Of course, you got these little blocks of wood, you know, maybe 6 inches, you got to carry them around. Or, for people that think they're badass, you know, the alpha males, probably like me and Gus try to do it, like, hey, we work out with heavy weights all the time for this reason. Farmer carries. There's a log. It's like a telephone pole-ish type of thing. Maybe 6 foot tall. I'm a short dude. Gus is the tallest dude down here. Why are we in a team carrying this log when
Yeah.
I'm taking 2 steps to his 1?
Yeah.
Up and down hills,
Right.
down this track,
Right.
motocross
Yep.
track.
Yeah.
But anyway, things like that, you have to be able to talk to your friend. Hey, move to the other side. I can't hold this anymore. Hey, let's sit down. Watch your foot. Blah, blah, blah. Team building. Now, island hopping. I didn't do this.
Yes.
Let's hear about you and your dad's brush with death.
Yeah, island hopping is basically this event where you have probably 6 of these floating, like, kind of like wood floats that are out there, kind of like a pontoon. And basically, you're supposed to hop from one to
Like
one
kids
to
do
next.
at like Silver Lake or Coney
Yeah.
Island type
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
It's foamy padded.
Yeah.
You jump on,
Right.
you fall in the
Right.
clear, cool water.
Right, exactly.
So I like that.
Exactly. So that's how it's supposed to be done. And if you're 120 pounds, I'm sure that's easy. My dad went out there, not the most mobile guy, not the most confident in the water.
But a good runner.
Good runner. Fell in, and basically, water's cold, water's over his head, muddy water, and he
saw the face of.
saw the face of death staring right at him.
So what'd you do?
So I saw him. I saw that Dad was uncomfortable, that he was not getting any better. There was a lifeguard who was probably about my dad's age and was asking him for help. If he needed help, I didn't want to wait for that any longer, so I jumped in and essentially pulled him out. So
Good.
Yes.
Did you go back to try the obstacle yourself?
You know what? After that, I was kind of done with island hopping, so I said, you know what? Let's go on to the next one.
That reminds me of, we didn't do that in the Spartan race, but they did have maybe 3 foot, 2.5, 3 foot tall, 4x4 posts out of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And there's about 6 or 7 of them in a row where you had to balance from one to the other.
Yeah.
You're not going to just take a step to it. It
Right.
was jumps.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's only a bit wider than my foot, covered in mud.
Mm-hmm.
You realize how dangerous that is?
Yeah.
If someone slips
Yeah.
and falls on their spine,
Right.
someone falls right, anything.
Yeah.
Someone falls off and knocks you. I mean,
Right.
some of the best balance. Luckily, I made it through because I don't know. I love training. I like doing that stuff. I'll go
Yeah.
outside and just hop, whatever, just
Yeah.
because it's there. But
But most people don't
don't
have that kind of exposure to that kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's teamwork. Let's see what else we got here. The mud mile, that was really cool. That's what we're talking about, jumping from
Yeah.
log jamming.
Yeah.
Basically, this set looked like a,
We didn't have that one in mind.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Cool. So let's talk. I liked it. Basically, it's like some giant had Lincoln logs
Mm-hmm.
and set these things up, and you had to go through them. It's like if you're seeing from above outer space and you're looking down, it looked like a ladder.
Yeah.
You'd climb over one,
Yeah.
then you'd have to go under the next. Then
yeah,
you climb
yeah.
over, up and over, and you climb under. You climb. So that was the log jamming, and
Yeah.
it was, slippery and
Yeah.
and just not. You could whatever. You fall, you get hurt, whatever.
Yeah.
You had to wait for people and stuff, and it was cold and whatever.
Yeah.
There wasn't much cargo nettage
No.
in ours.
No.
I always see that. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I like cargo nets. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Didn't have any,
Yeah.
but I mean, basically, cargo net. You're on something. It's unstable.
Right.
It's unstable if you're on it by yourself, let
Yeah.
alone 10 other people
Right.
next to you
Right.
getting their own footing,
Yeah.
right? So,
So, and to that,
stabilization.
and another thing that kind of goes along with that, if you can, you want to try and schedule to be one of the earlier teams through the course. So if you can,
That involves getting up early.
yeah, but you know what? If it's a choice between getting on the course at 8:30 a.m. versus going out there at noon after 3,000 people
Yeah.
have already left their muddy tracks on it, versus getting on the course at 8:30 when maybe a couple of hundred people have.
Big difference.
That's a big
right?
difference.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. Absolutely.
We went through and I was like, where's the water at in this obstacle? And the guy said, 7,000 people went through here so far and they took it that way. So the mud,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Think about when it a puddle on the road, you
Yeah.
drive over it, 10,000 cars behind you drive it
Right.
through it and it takes it for a couple miles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like treacherous.
Right.
It's different. So like I've never been to an early one, and I prepared myself. It's gonna be muddy the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some hiking skills.
Yeah.
I protect, like I like to hike with my daughter in the backpack. She's
Sure.
2 1/4.
Yeah.
I have no choice of falling.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Right.
I'm not gonna fall back on. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you
Right.
have to pay attention to
attention.
every footstep,
Yeah.
every slip.
Yeah.
If you don't have stabilization, if you don't have control of every muscle that controls your hip and lower body, legs,
Right.
you're in a bad spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get some more. I know maybe it's girly or whatever people think, but BOSU balance trainers.
Yeah.
Stand on those things.
Right.
Get on and off of those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Do push-ups, whatever.
Yeah.
Do everything. Single leg deadlifts, all that.
Yeah.
I wrote a thing called The Stable Adventure for Cincy Profile a month or 2 ago. A great thing about exercises to do for getting yourself ready to do these races, and I'll probably do some more.
Yeah.
But the stuff that we do down here,
Yeah. It's not working out the big muscles. It's the million stabilization muscles
Yes.
that you don't see.
yes, we're not working mirror muscles here.
Right.
They get worked, but the thing is, it's not just the force production muscles. It's not the force deceleration muscles.
Yeah.
It's the muscles that help those muscles work the joint.
Exactly.
Stabilize the joint. And like I said, even the best people out there can get hurt because it's still, you're playing, it's a game of chance.
Right.
What happens? What if this person falls over?
Yeah.
The best football players out there get hurt.
Right.
Doesn't
Right.
matter. It's,
If you're doing something athletic related, if you're going at it hard, you're going to get hurt at some point. So,
yeah.
and then the best thing is to figure out your course of action to get healthy again.
Yes. Luckily, I didn't get hurt in it, and it looks like our Tough Mudder page has crashed.
Okay.
Maybe not. Oh, restored. They don't want us talking about it, I guess. As far as training for it, they have a pretty cool thing. It says a Tough Mudder boot camp. Well, we did this at the old Swing 2, that had about 7 or 8 people that went with us, and some other clients that were jumping in. It was an hour straight of a minute of calisthenic type stuff,
Yeah.
cardio, jump rope, whatever. It says if you can do this, you can do this race.
Right.
I'm telling you, that had my calves hurting more than that whole race did.
Yeah.
Let's get back to cramping.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of it because,
Right.
like you said, look how people that cramp on a half marathon.
Yeah.
So it's about the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about using, like I said, every muscle in your body,
Yeah.
close to failure?
Right.
It's not
Right.
just laying on the bench
Right.
press.
Right.
This is
Right. I mean, basically, and that's where I think that's the real dangerous part is if you're not aware of how you could cramp, especially if you're cramping up in deep, dark, cold water.
sure.
I think that's how some people have lost their lives on the races because they cramped
Yeah.
up, they couldn't recover.
What happens when you cramp? You're stuck.
you're
You
stuck.
can't move. That's very
Yeah.
hard. That's
Yeah.
almost hard enough to get out of that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you do. That happens at the top of an obstacle or something.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
Go into
Yeah.
these obstacles with, I don't want to say the fear, but plan on
Right.
bad things.
Right. Right.
How are you gonna get out of that? If
Yeah.
this does happen, if I fall from this, what's gonna happen? How can I deal with it?
Right.
Am I gonna fall in a good spot?
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I gonna know what to do?
Yeah.
I get to jump from here to there.
Right.
Here's the good part that happens. You think.
Yeah.
And it's hard to think sometimes when you're fatigued.
Yeah.
It's hard to think when your nervous system is under. It's
Right.
to its end. It's
Yeah.
like
Which is why you also have to think about not just yourself, but also
other people.
is that guy
everybody.
having a tough time on the water?
Sure.
Do they need help over that wall?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's why they say it's not a race. What about trench warfare? Is pretty cool. Climbing under
Yeah.
in some trenches.
Yeah.
Got boards over. It's dark.
Right.
I didn't do the underwater time. Okay. What about walk the plank?
Walk the plank. Yes. Walk the
Was
plank.
it 15 foot high or 20? Something like that.
I'd say 20.
Okay.
20 feet high. Into dark, cold,
Dark, cold water.
deep water.
That's a.
Which is
If
where.
you're not used to jumping off things,
Yeah.
water or not,
Yeah.
if you don't land right in the
Yeah.
water, you can get hurt.
Yeah.
You knock
That's-
your wind out of you.
That's where that one of the participants didn't make it out.
Really.
Yeah.
And they have guys in cold water scuba gear,
Yep.
watching
Yeah.
in there, just sitting in
Yeah.
there watching,
Yeah.
which I was
Yeah.
happy about that. Like, I am horrified of heights, and I can say that as emphatically as I can.
Mhm.
Horrified of heights.
Mhm.
I don't know why I grew up building houses with my dad and climbing on roofs.
Yeah.
Didn't like it then, but something
Yeah.
clicked.
Yeah.
We're like, you're an idiot for trying to do that. You're gonna whatever. And I get good stabilization, stability, and I'm confident of my own body and actions. You know. But I got to the top of that thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
And there's another
Right.
girl. I'm like, okay. She was horrified. I mean, like
Yeah.
almost in tears. There are people that get up. It'd be harder to climb down. I think. I'm like, okay, we got to do this. Let's hold hands. Let's do it. But you got to make sure you're not holding hands and falling onto somebody, knocking them out, swinging your arms, getting freaked out.
Right. Right.
So that's where I lost my favorite hat.
So some of these things, assuming you don't have a phobia about, severe phobia about these things, you just don't want to think about it. You don't want to overthink a lot of these obstacles. You don't want to overthink, okay, this is a 20-foot platform, I'm jumping into cold, dark water. Again, if you have a severe phobia about that kind of thing, skip that obstacle. There's no harm in that. We want everybody to get out of this thing in one piece. But on the other hand, if that just makes you uncomfortable, go do it. Don't think about it. Charge right through it.
Yeah.
Don't overanalyze it. But yeah.
Anything else that we haven't got to? Nutrition. What about nutrition?
Yeah.
Are you fueling yourselves the night before?
Right.
Are you getting up and running this early race?
Yeah.
They shuttled us a long time. So when I ate, I'm like, if you don't have something you can grab, you might not be eating for a long time.
Absolutely.
You're definitely going to be eating. How long did the race take for you?
We were out there, we were out there probably 5 hours. We were out there a long time.
We were out there, I want to say 5.5 hours, because we were waiting for a person in our team that was not prepared.
Yeah.
They didn't train here. Luckily, the people that train with us we knew what they could handle, and they were in pretty good shape by that time. They train down here for 6 months to a year. I wouldn't recommend it when you're say, I want to do that. What is going on with this thing? Our website's being done.
I think it's really important to, the week ahead of time, to make sure you're keeping yourself hydrated. You're getting a good balance of rest, protein,
stress
fat,
relief,
carb coming in. Limit the booze, limit anything else that's going on in your body.
Especially the night before.
Yes,
that's what I think the problem was. People were out there drinking.
There were people probably drinking in the parking lot too, I'm sure. But that
I
morning,
take life seriously about stuff like that.
Well, some things.
It's a 12-mile run.
Yeah. So get plenty of water. Take some of that goo or some lower bars along with you. Make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you get nutrition.
You gotta realize if you take those packets, those goo packets are what, 20 grams of carbohydrates. That's roughly only 20 times 4, around 100 calories. Do you realize how fast you burn 100 calories? And for something like that, you could burn 10 minutes.
Right.
I mean, obviously we store a lot of glycogen if you're eating, properly. You're going to store a good amount of energy in your body.
Yeah.
It's the water and the hydration levels and the mineral content and that you got to worry. That's where people get these cramps. They're either too much calcium or something, or not enough, or all that stuff. If you work out and you get cramps, or they say the week before, you're like, man, my calf keeps cramping when I sleep. I would figure that out first before I get out there on that. And what if you're 4 miles away from people? Not people, but from the start or the finish or whatever. How are they going to get you?
Right.
There's only a few of those ATVs out there.
Yeah.
You have to call and wait and have somebody play phone. Hey, help! We need help down here. So stop that. But injuries. I saw plenty of injuries, and a friend that was a guy on my street actually, severely, way worse than you on your shoulder, could not move it, and I think it hindered. This thing could be a big, if you get hurt,
right,
it's not your work's gone, all sorts of stuff. If you have to fix a broken knee or shoulder, stuff like that.
It can happen. Things happen, accidents happen. The key is if you can do as much as you can to prevent that ahead of time, you're going to be in good shape out there. So, but things happen, obviously. But yeah, I mean, my main points: be prepared mentally, work on your core, work on your upper body strength, work on your mobility, and
strength from fingers to toes.
Yep.
It's got to be connected.
Absolutely.
From left to right, it's got to go through the torso. You have to have control. You have to have control of the muscles that stabilize your spine.
Yeah.
Don't want to have any neck injuries, any twists, fall, breaks, all that stuff. Yeah.
You're out of there as a team and have fun. I had fun with it. I loved it. It showed me how, I guess, really how much training here has helped me become a more athletic person. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And that's one of my biggest points is I just see so many people is I'm ready for a tough month. I'm like, what? You haven't done anything before.
Yeah.
Where do you work out? I don't work out. I run. I'm like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do some stuff.
Right.
Right. At least take a couple months. People don't realize that 3 months of training for a beginner, for a person that hasn't done this, is really not that much. You're going to see neurological neuromuscular improvements.
Right.
Coordination issues, but it might not. You're not going to get that much stronger that quickly. You're going to get more coordinated. By doing the movements.
Yeah.
It takes a while for somebody to actually be able to do one of these races.
Yeah.
And I've seen people that were incredibly out of shape, and they're in the first couple miles out there, and they look like there's something really wrong. And I'm like feeling really bad. I'm like worried.
Yeah.
But what can you do? I mean, you're out there. You've prepared.
Right.
If you've prepared for yourself and your team.
Yeah.
You sit there and but then I'm very empathetic. Right? Is that the word?
Yeah.
When I see people like that, I want to help it. That's my job, is to help people get through things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't help everybody.
No.
It's just, and then, I don't know. It's tough. And my biggest thing is prepare yourself.
Yeah.
It's not just running, and it's you got to do a lot of stuff. We talked from the first minute of this thing. So how much was it for you, money wise?
Money-wise, I think it was like $150 or something.
Don't wait
to
the end. I think I paid like $190 because I waited too long. I'm an idiot. You can get, if you do another certain amount, there's people that do these things 5 and 6 times a year.
Right.
A lot of the money goes to the Wounded Warrior Project, wounded veterans and stuff like that. What else?
You get beer at the end of the race too.
Even if you don't drink, it might even be like.
It tastes really good.
And I'm not a drinker at all, but that, I don't know. I had to sit down.
Yeah.
A beer and a Cliff Bar, 2 things that I never have. I'm like, this is the best 400 calories I've ever eaten in my life. Because I gave away my food to people that weren't prepared. Anything else that you can think of? No?
That's about it.
All right, so now for you, our goal is to get you back, right?
Absolutely. I'm on my way.
Maybe, will you do another one of these, or a different type of race?
Maybe.
Maybe do a smaller race?
Maybe, yeah.
Like you proved yourself?
Yeah.
Wait, where is it? Let's see. Let's see what this thing is. Right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got it.
What's that?
It's in my closet.
So he's got one of
Wear
these guys.
with pride.
Exactly. Like every now and then I'll do a 10-minute kettlebell set where I feel like puking. And I'll wear this thing. I'm like, it's not as bad. It's not as bad. Anyway, thank you, man.
All right, brother.
Really appreciate it.
All right. Swing this, train here. Train now.
Yeah, it's easy. But swing this kettlebell in strength. We can do a lot of stuff that really gets you prepared for these runs and things like that. So anyway, just let us know. It's www.swingthiskettlebells.com. We're all over everything else. YouTube, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. YouTube is Swing This One. So check us out. Have a good one.
Yeah.